This is Blues View. Coming up, we discuss that penalty decision. We also hear off a raging Stepehn Carr and look ahead to Burnley on Saturday. Hello and welcome to this week's Blues View. I'm Andy Walker and I'm joined today by Colin Tattum, where we're about to dissect the second City derby at Villa Park on Sunday. Welcome, Colin.
Hello.
Well, Colin, the 108th league showdown between the two Birmingham clubs, and it was clouded in controversy, obviously, about that penalty decision. Firstly, what was your own take of it?
I think from a Birmingham perspective, arguably they probably were the better side on the balance of play and chances overall, and the penalty decision was a real tough one for them to take because obviously they'd put so much into the game, they'd played well, they'd set themselves up correctly, got it right tactically. Brad Fiedel was immense for Aston Villa, as were their defenders. Birmingham just couldn't stick the ball in the back of the net, and likewise Joe Hart played well for Birmingham. But overall, I think they emerged with a lot of pride for their performance, and they can feel very unlucky and aggrieved that they didn't come away with more than even a draw.
Been plenty of debate about that tackle Roger Johnson on the Gabby Agbonlahor. Was it a penalty? Wasn't it a penalty? The general consensus is that it wasn't a penalty. What did you think? From
where I was sitting in the Trinity Road press box, which is near the corner flag, seeing it live, I felt that he got the ball, and I tend to usually go with my initial instinct, and then obviously looking at the replay, he did get the ball, but the referee, you just have to wonder, did he guess at it? That's what he thought he saw. He thought he saw a foul, because definitely Johnson got the ball. Okay, the man came afterwards, but there were a lot of tackles like that in the game. That's football. That's what happens. People could argue Roger Johnson shouldn't have made the tackle in the area. It's a risky one to take, but as Alex McLeish has pointed out, that's what he does do. He's a defender, and he's made enough of those tackles this season. And it was a big call by the referee in such a big game. And if you're not sure, surely you don't give it. It's like the theory of umpiring in cricket. If you're not sure, the batsman's not out, and therefore it should not have been awarded. And of course, it created and triggered all this controversy that is still rumbling on now as we speak.
Okay, Colin. Well, understandably so. A lot of the Birmingham management and players were seething after the final whistle, and one of those players was Stepehn Carr, and we hear from him now.
If a draw would have been a bad result, I think we had them losing the game. But in the end, the referee gives a horrific decision against us and it cost us. Exactly, that just showed how bad of a decision it was. And it's very hard, not to react like that. Just put it, instead of just being absolutely raw. We played some good football, we resorted down to hitting a lot of long balls and hitting the ball out of play. And we look comfortable. But obviously when it's nil all, there's always something can happen, man. And unfortunately today, the decision just goes against us.
Well, that was the thoughts of an angry Stepehn Carr there. Usually we'd now turn to your questions, but they have literally all been about that penalty. So rather than single out one, we just thought we'd discuss it in general. Colin, that was an angry Irishman there. He wasn't the only one. There was no James McFadden unhappy, Roger Johnson. Everybody heard off him. We can't talk about police investigation into Stepehn Carr at the moment, but it was clear that the red mist descended on several of the Blues players after. And
I think that tells you how aggrieved that they felt by the penalty decision. And I've not known a Birmingham team rage as much as that for years. And if you look, Alex McLeish walked over to the referee and obviously he mouthed a few obscenities. Again, that's unlike him. That's how much it hit them to lose in the manner that they did. And Stepehn Carr, while you can't condone what he may or may not have done, what you see is what you get with him. He's a very passionate, pugnacious character. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's just the way he felt. Same as Roger Johnson. Roger Johnson will tell it like it is. If he feels something is wrong or somebody's made a mistake, he will say that. And fair enough, fair play to them that they'll come out and give you their thoughts. That's to be respected in many aspects. But obviously that sense of grievance is still festering down at St Andrews, and I think by the time the next derby comes round, you will see it again, another committed performance from Birmingham against Villa, and surely there'll be a little extra edge to it, even more so.
It's going to be a shame there to just talk about that penalty decision because you'd be overshadowing what was, as you said, a tremendous performance from Birmingham. One performance in particular was Joe Hart. Obviously, compared to his opposite number, wasn't quite as good as Brad Friedel, but brilliant nevertheless. Do you think he genuinely deserves to even be England's number one at the World Cup?
I think Fabio Capello should play him in the next couple of friendlies and then make that decision. He has nothing to lose. People will say he hasn't got the experience, but he's been playing against world-class players week in, week out, and he's been performing well. He's confident, and he's got the mentality to handle it. I personally think he is the best goalkeeper in the Premier League on form, him and Craig Gordon, and he should be England's number one. And I said it when I first saw him train for Birmingham in the pre-season, that the kid has got a chance to break into that England side, and he's proven that with his performances, not only on Sunday against Villa, but throughout the season. And as you said, Joe Hart's display was just one good factor of Birmingham's football at Villa Park. And I think people should not forget that although it was a derby and there's a lot of cut and thrust and biff and bang, they kept the ball, they passed the ball very well. And compared to a Villa side who are going for the Champions League, I think they played the better football.
Two games left of the season, starting with an early kick-off against Burnley on Saturday. Clarets are down, and from Birmingham's point of view, it's a chance to gain revenge for probably what was their poorest performance this season up at Turf Moor last year.
Yeah, that was a very worrying display, and they went into a 2-week break after that, and then of course it all turned around. They went on the great unbeaten run. It's a dead game in many respects, isn't it? But what have Birmingham got to play for other than a bit of pride, keeping the home record going, and to make sure they finish in the top 10? Burnley are down, so I don't know. I just hope it's not going to fizzle out like the Hull City game did in the second half.
Thanks for joining us, Colin. And thank you for watching. And be sure to log on same time next week to see how Birmingham got on at home to Burnley. Thanks, and we'll see you then.